Thanks Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics for sending the review copy for this game. So let's get started, shall we? Today I will be reviewing Rise of the Tomb Raider, since I already finished it on stream today. I played it a little more and well, I'm going to start with the review. So, Rise of the Tomb Raider, it's a sequel to the Tomb Raider reboot released on 2013, where Lara Croft, which is the protagonist, intends to find an ancient artifact that her father was investigating many years back that grants immortality to its user. This adventure will take her to many places where she will need all her skills to survive in a race to find the artifact with a group called Trinity. In short, the people that has money and, well, have many thugs and advanced weapons and tech. Just somewhat cliche. So, that's what the story is about, more or less. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll keep going. So on the gameplay, the controls are spot on for gamepad users. I tried it with an Xbox 360 controller myself for a while to test it how it was, and it was very comfortable, I have to say. But I played most of the game with on PC with mouse and keyboard, and it was comfortable enough to play it all the way till the end. I personally prefer mouse and keyboard since I am better with a mouse, and I couldn't find any issue with mouse control in general, but there is a mouse sensitivity option missing from the options menu. There is only an aim sensitivity option, so it will be nice to see a mouse sensitivity option in a different patch, in a new patch. Lara still kept some moves from the previous game. The same dodging and roll mechanic from the first game is still there. Then the wall impulse to get to higher ground also still there, and the climbing axe for some icy walls and rocks still pretty much the same, but instead of using just one axe, it will use two. And yeah, I will use just two climbing axes instead of one. Also, this game introduces sprinting, which was missing in the first game, which helps on many situations, like running away from enemies when your health is low and stuff like that. The cover mechanics are pretty much the same as in the prequel, but now it's less reliable since enemies will try to flank you from above and from the sides of the cover. If an enemy is on high ground, it will be easier for him to shoot at you behind cover. And this looks like a more polished version of the prequel in terms of control and gameplay. There's new crafting mechanics, which allows Lara to craft on the go if you have the necessary items, of course. You can craft normal arrows and special arrow types too, like poison, fire and explosive arrows. Just to give you an idea of what to expect there, all those will require different items that you collect from the environment. You can find them on abandoned backpacks, trees, plants, boxes, and some animals. Hunting now has a purpose. Of course, in the first game it didn't have much of a purpose, but now it does. It's very important. Gathering items and hunting is crucial for crafting. If you find a bottle, you can craft Molotov cocktails. If you find just like a can, it can be converted into small bombs. And if you find some kind of pots, ancient pots, you can make smoke bombs from them, but they won't stay on your inventory. They will be on Lara's hand and you cannot keep them. It's just you craft it in the moment and use it. That's how it works. Also, the survivor view that Lara has, her senses. If an enemy is yellow, it means that he cannot be seen by his comrades, so you can attack him. And if it's red, it means that if you kill him, you will be detected because someone is watching him. Okay, so you'll need to skin ammo to craft bigger quivers and pockets to carry more ammo, arrows, and all salvage you collect, just like Far Cry 3. Pots can also be used to craft outfits for Lara to give her some extra advantages in the main game, such, for example, there's a slight chance to heal without using any items. That's one of the things that's one of the outfits I have. Also, salvage is one of the things you need for upgrading your weapons. It's easy to find in boxes spread around the environment, just like in the prequel. You can also add different things to improve your weapons, like before, but this time has way more depth. You can improve the fire rate, the damage, the range, everything, and you can also add different things to improve them, such as attachments, but they are really hard to get early on. Suppressors and grenade launchers seems they require some special kind of currency that you find hidden all in the game. Then you can find pistols, rifles, submachine guns, bow and arrow, and shotguns in this game. Well, pretty much like in the previous game, but you will get them while you explore the environment. Like before, if you open some kind of big crates, you can find parts to craft bigger weapons and better weapons, such as a bolt-action rifle that I couldn't get yet, but I'm working on it, and better bow and arrow and stuff like that. Lara can also be upgraded with skill points that you earn by getting experience points. That, well, you get those experience points by completing missions, hunting, killing enemies. You can earn XP by doing those activities I mentioned in different ways. You can choose the stealthy approach or the loud approach, although in some occasions the game won't allow you to choose the approach because of story purposes. For example, the enemies spot Lara on a cinematic, so you have no choice but to fight them directly. In this sequel, the torch is gone. Lara now uses a glowing stick when entering dark places, which is automatic. The player doesn't control when this light is turned on. Then Lara can now, for the stealth approach, can hide on vegetation, tree branches, underwater, or behind some walls like cover. But they aren't 100% secure. Enemies can find you pretty easily in later levels, since they will now know from previous moments of the game how you killed their comrades because of some briefing that was made to the soldiers. Many times, in my case, I was found underwater because I exploited that kind of approach at the beginning of the game. So the guards already were looking underwater because before I was even there. So they found me pretty easily many times. You'll also gain extra XP for headshots and creative kills done with crafted items and objects from the environment, such as barrels on fire that are spread around the environment, like traps that are in many games. There are some small quick time events present, but way less than in the prequel. The pacing is fantastic, but it was a little flawed at the end, unfortunately. Now in this sequel there is actual tomb raiding. Now there is actual tomb raiding. You can find optional tombs across the map. They are well crafted puzzles that will allow you to get extra skills, like shooting 2 arrows in a fast succession, and other interesting abilities that I won't spoil for you because they are pretty awesome. For climbing there's also after some time into the game the ability to shoot arrows on some wooden walls and icy walls too, that makes the arrow to be climbable. I mean, you stuck the arrow on a wall and you can climb it, but those walls are, well, it's like climbing with the axe. Just in those walls you cannot put an axe, so you can put arrows and climb onto them. I didn't find any uninteresting tomb in this game. Those are optional, but I like doing them because you get some nice skills. Lara can also find collectibles that are in a foreign language, and by reading them she will gain proficiency on those different languages, and well, she will be able to read some other readings on stone at later parts of the game that won't be able to be read if you don't have a certain proficiency on a language, like Greek, Russian, and Mongol. If you start reading those collectibles, she will start understanding that language better. Well, some of the collectibles cannot be read unless you reach a certain proficiency level in that language. There's also a high replay value on a mode called Expeditions. It's a mode where you can replay the main missions in different ways to reach, well, different kinds of scores to compete with other players in the leaderboard. There's also one new thing, which are some cards that are modifiers for the game that can change the experience quite drastically. Like, I don't know, starting with no ammo, infinite fire arrows, getting health by killing enemies, but bandages for healing are not available, stuff like that. You can make the game easier and get less points, or make it harder and get more points. You can unlock these cards I mentioned with points that are made by playing, or you can get a pack of cards due to certain actions into the game, like finishing chapters, owning other Square Enix games. In my case, since I own Thief, I was able to get a pack of cards that was like thanking me for owning Thief and for finishing the game and all stuff like that. There's some DLC present from day one. One of those is called Endurance, which is a very high difficulty mode that, well, it's very different than the main game. Has permadeath, so if you die, the game is over. Lara will be affected by weather, and everything needs to be crafted. You won't have anything at the beginning of the game. The bad thing about this is that this, just the very high difficulty mode, costs $9.99 US. This reminds me of the Ranger Mode DLC from Metro Last Light. I feel like they just took that part of the game off and wanted to sell it separately. I just think it's not fair. Then graphics. Well, graphically this game is beautiful, a lot better than the prequel, which already looked wonderful. The developers and artists did a wonderful job creating these very detailed characters and environments, in my opinion. Even on console it looks great. The game features screen space reflections, tessellation, and AMD Pure Hair technology that is properly optimized. This time it looks better than ever. Even snow can get onto Lara's hair. When getting out of the water, she will try to get her ponytail dry. A lot of small details like these were put into the game. Even snow will be deformed very realistically while moving onto it. The Xbox One version runs at the native 1080p at 30 frames per second. Cinematics run at 900p on the console. Those settings seems to be a mix between medium and high compared to the PC port. Then story. The story is very good. It had some memorable moments. I highly suggest you playing the prequel before this one. It's a fantastic game and it will help you to understand what's happening. Lara has some flashbacks of her childhood that show how she ended up becoming this badass Tomb Raider. I don't want to talk much about the story since, well, I don't want to spoil anything to you. The great visuals and acting kept me from skipping the cutscenes, which is rare in my case, and well, it kept me enjoying the story. After the main story is over, well, the map is open for you to explore the rest of the side missions and optional tombs, and well, try to reach 100% completion. PC options, well, how much options there are on the PC ports? Well, the PC version has many options to tweak. In gameplay, you can switch on or off the vibration. You can invert the Y-axis, the aim sensitivity. I was wondering where the mouse sensitivity is. It seems to be missing. Then survival instinct beacons and glows, you can turn those off. And the broadcast frame is a frame that you can add to the game. If you're streaming, it will give you, well, it will give data to the viewers. It will show your name and, well, the progress in the story and the gameplay time, the time you've been there. Then audio and languages, you can change the music volume, dialogue volume, and SFX volume separately. Change the voiceover language, the text language, and the subtitles can be colored or without color. You can choose that if you so desire. And that's pretty good, a pretty good option to have. Then on display we have full screen, exclusive full screen. You can choose the monitor you want to use, the resolution, the refresh rate, and anti-aliasing. We have FXAA, SMAA, SSAA 2 times and 4 times, or just turn it off. We have double buffered VSync, triple buffered VSync, and on graphics we have, well, a lot of presets that I played around with in order to have a stable frame rate at 30. It drops sometimes anyway. Pure hair can be off, on, or very high, apparently. And well, mouse and keyboard, you can rebind all the keys. As far as I'm concerned, I tried changing some of them. It worked just fine. Then gamepad, you can just, on the gamepad options, you can just see the presets. You cannot change anything about the gamepad unless it's a vibration. And well, that's pretty much the PC options there, but performance isn't good. Even high-end GPUs have problems to keep a stable 60 frames per second on 1080p ultra settings. On the GTX 750 Ti I own, I experienced many issues to keep 30 frames per second stable without doing any overclock. So I suggest you do overclock the card, play at 900p, in a mix of medium and high settings. In some open areas this game can be very CPU intensive, so I suggest you have at least Core i5 so you can enjoy it as good as possible. So overall, I really enjoyed playing through this game. I felt like when I played Metal Gear Solid 5, just freedom of approach, many ways of doing missions, and many options to do many different actions. I mean, you can go and throw just grenades you made from things you picked up. You can go melee, you can, I don't know, you can do many things. You can even go stealthily in most sections and take out the soldiers the way you want. Then I played through it on my Twitch livestream and I encountered some crashes while playing. There's like 3 or 4 crashes overall. There's a good checkpoint system, so I didn't lose much progress after the crashes. Try not to minimize the game while playing, since it's bound to crash on those cases. I can overall recommend this game to you guys, to any person that like the prequel, the Uncharted series, and shooters overall. It's very, very fluid in the gameplay mechanics. It took me 9 hours to finish the main storyline, with 4 optional tombs finished. I have many more to raid and collectibles to get. The difficulty system is very good too. It's way tougher on higher difficulties in this case. I say this since, well, most modern games don't make much of a difference by changing difficulty, so most games are disappointing in that aspect. Also, I have a total of 16 hours into this game. I kept playing it after the main credits rolled. Well, I give this game an 8 out of 10. The performance on PC and the highly disappointing final boss took those 2 points away. The rest of the game is totally fantastic. If you can get it, just go buy it right now. It's pretty awesome. If you have a decent PC, I highly suggest you get this game. So thank you guys for watching and see you in the next video.